Hello and welcome to the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Prodigy Disc. We got day one coming up. We got BigSexy here watching it. We are in Jacksonville, Florida. Nate Sexton and Jeremy Koling.
Much different event this week that we're bringing to you from Jacksonville, Florida. The Pro Tour Championships is an event, single elimination, only the best survive. However, this is day one, and we have 13 competitors on the course.
There were a few no-shows.
There were supposed to be 25 players, I believe.
Yep.
Or 20, something like that.
Something like that.
Maybe 24. And so today, 12 players advance.
There are 13 on the course, so there's one unlucky fellow that has to go home.
The rule is don't be last. So we got Dustin Keegan here.
And this is a tough hole. Hole one is a par 3, tight gap, OB right there in front of you. And Dustin has absolutely grip locked that, and that's not good. It's not OB, but it isn't good.
I'm curious to watch Dustin play this year. He's one of my good friends who has been suffering from a shoulder injury this season, and he's been pushing through, but his game has suffered. And
I think he's ready for the off season.
Yeah, he's ready to rehab. So good shot from Devan, a little bit outside the circle.
Yeah, nice throw though. Snappy. Oh boy, that's looking perhaps OB. Hard to tell.
And that is a good nickname for this guy here from the South. He has got a ton of power behind his shots. If
Definitely.
you've never seen James play before, the guy can rip. And we got Mike Conlee from Illinois, and he hits the side.
Wow, that went so high.
Wow, and you can see the wind right there. You get the nose up on the disc from the side.
What a crazy skip up. That went just straight 50 feet straight up.
Bizarre.
Never seen that before. And this is found the rough from Dustin on his second shot.
And just with the distance here, 408, kind of a tunnel off the tee, and
a lot of wind too.
You see that wind. This is a really tricky hole, and we only have 13 players playing today, so the sample size is pretty small. But this was the third hardest hole in the course.
Yeah, keep that in mind with our stats today. As we play this course a couple more times, maybe the stats carry a little more weight. But right now, just 13 data points.
And the flick roller out there.
Beautiful.
Nicely done.
Using the wind.
That was snappy, I believe. Leaving himself just outside the circle for his par. And Dustin's going to have to settle for his bogey. Let's see if James can start off a good way. Oh, and just kind of drops there at the last second.
Devan for the birdie.
And that would have been the only birdie.
Wow. With this wind, it really doesn't shock me. The gap is very small.
And Mike just a bit low for his par. We're going to have 3 bogeys and a par on hole 1. And when the format is don't come last, well, I mean, you didn't really lose much ground to your card when you get a bogey.
That's true, but you have put yourself in a club of guys fighting for last.
Right.
Three bogeys, 1 par. On to hole 2. Hole 2 is a par 4, 604 feet with a double mando between the palm trees, a little more than halfway to the basket. I'm going to say it's about 360 off the tee, maybe. I don't think you're going to see many players go for it because it's really not worth it at all to try to split the mando off the tee, because even if you do, you're not going to make it 2. It's 604 feet.
Yeah, this is actually kind of a relief after hole 1. This is the second easiest hole in the course. It's just, want to throw something straight out there, 350 or so, and you have 150 feet left.
That's a perfect shot.
Or 250 left, that wouldn't make any sense.
254 feet left.
Yeah. If we want to be exact.
Dustin hits another branch,
that's
going to be a little bit of a tough shot.
You see him kind of starting the lawnmower over there after he threw. He's trying to get that shoulder warmed up.
Oh, no. This is going way, way left.
That's going to cut off that angle to the basket.
It's almost going to be a layup from there.
And Mike has a pretty decent forehand here. Let's see if he can keep this thing low. And it's flexing off to the left. And
it's going to be a little much, but
Oh, yeah, that skip didn't help much. He's going to have a pretty tricky angle from there, but he might be able to manage something.
But there's no height restriction here, so maybe you can throw some super high shot and just count on your group to judge whether you made the mando or not.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about mandatories. I never really... Oh, this is a great recovery shot from Dustin if he makes that mandatory. And he has...
Nice shot.
He should have a pretty easy up and down there for his par, but when you see a palm tree like that and it's a mandatory, that line, you just have to kind of imagine going up forever, and that's put a lot of pressure on the group to make that call.
Definitely. That's a really nice shot.
Yeah, really great way to hug the palm tree mandatory.
And Devan, after the perfect drive, able to go putter. That really helps. Minimize the skip, and he should just be sliding right up to the pin.
Oh, yeah. This sandy soil out here will allow shots like that to just grab.
This doesn't look quite as bad as I thought it would. And he has gone with a nice high shot, clearly through the mando. Can it miss this tree? Wow.
What a throw from Mike Conlee.
Fantastic shot. That's the shot of the day so far.
Easily. And Dustin's left more than he'd like there. Anything elevated like that, you really, especially from that distance, you got to get it under the basket.
Yeah. Here's a big birdie putt, and it is in for Snappy. Dustin for a par.
Yeah, he was closer than I thought he was.
Birdie for Mike. Birdie for Devan. Hole 3, par 3, 319 feet. If you were watching the coverage live, you may have seen Johnny McRae hit an ace here yesterday. Pretty cool. But this is a pretty straightforward shot. You've got the option of the wide skipping backhand, the straight mid-range, or the wide forehand and skip it into the pin. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's the most straightforward hole in the course. I mean, again, this was the small sample size, but this was the easiest hole on the course. You guys are going to look to... Devan's got that a little bit wider than he'd like, but he's still got a look. He's just a little bit long there.
Yeah.
About 39 feet left. And how about Johnny McRae's intense focus after the ace?
Yeah, only 3 holes into the round, he came to play.
Yeah, he throws the ace. His card mates are clapping for him, and look at this shot from James. Nice wide hyzer.
Wide shot.
Man, it's crazy to see that wide of a shot in such a straight hole. He gets a little FollowFlight here, but... And skips around.
That's nice.
Dances around again. I mean, he makes that look so routine. Great shot from Snappy. But yeah, Johnny gets the ace and just doesn't even turn his head around. Just walks straight for the basket. You don't get to see his face, but I'm sure he was just like, I can't even imagine what face he was making.
Yeah, we don't have the coverage obviously on a little bit right there from Mike, but I saw it and I was first thing I thought was someone needs to tell Johnny about this new craze sweeping the nation called Slappin' 5.
They're doing it all over New York City.
They're doing it everywhere, man. Especially when you hit an ace, you got a couple nice slaps coming your way if you want them.
And Dustin's forehand hits the tree and comes up a bit short. Kind of surprised to see Dustin throw the forehand here because he's been mentioning that's been the shot that hurts him the most, and he goes with that shot.
And he's such a good mid-range backhand thrower.
Yeah, a little bit surprising.
Maybe
there.
the wind is stronger than we can tell.
And Mike almost makes good from about 45 or so.
Devan from just outside the circle.
Oh, yeah.
Nice putt.
He's been playing really well lately. Had a great finish last week at the National Tour finale in Augusta, Georgia.
He's 2 down already through 3. Something tells me he's not getting last today.
Oh, I'd say he's my pick to come in first, maybe.
He's my pick to come in not last.
Okay. And Dustin taps in his par.
And now we see Snappy's amazing drive. Easy birdie. Good way to fight back with consecutive birdies after that tough start.
Dustin 1 over. He needs to turn things around here if he wants to be playing on Friday afternoon.
Hole 4, par 3, 306 feet. Another dead straight shot. It's got pretty good guardian trees on the left and right if you want to swing it wide. It's best to throw just a very straight shot here.
Oh, come on.
Little birdie.
That's amazing. Only Jomez, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. They got the quietest drones.
And that's a bit higher than Devan would like. He caught a bit of that, either the Spanish moss or maybe some of the pine straw hanging down. And he's come up shorter than he'd like to.
Looks like Snappy's going putter. Can it get under the ceiling?
I mean, it looks like he has. Oh, and he fights through it anyways.
Not a problem.
He's parked. It's amazing how grabby that Spanish moss can be. It's just so light and feathery, but it'll just...
Yeah, it will.
It'll soak a disc right up.
Oh, Mike taking a big ricochet. Actually, not bad result, really, but quite a kick.
And those trees really collect discs, too. It seems like you don't ever see discs go through them.
Oh, no. No, they're strong.
They usually just hit them and ricochet.
Yeah. Like the tree trunk.
Yeah, or any part of the tree, really. Anything that's solid, like wood.
Like really solid wood or metal or discs, will bounce right off it.
It never really goes through it.
At least 9 times out of 10. Here is Mike playing a forehand skip.
And
whoa.
I wonder from his perspective if he thought that might have gone in.
It did look pretty good.
One of those flashy skips.
Dustin, outside circle, just around the edge of the basket.
And good to see Paige Pierce out there supporting her friends.
Ooh, Devan was looking to really get started with that putt.
Yeah, a little fluttery, comes up a bit short. And Mike seemed a bit high out of his hand, but he collects the par. And Dustin has tapped in another par. He's making those 15-footers count. That's good.
And yet again, Snappy has to wait to be the last guy here because he's so parked. 2 holes in a row.
It's one of those problems. I can be a little bit patient with that.
Yeah,
if
it
I have to
doesn't
wait
really freak you out too bad.
No, if you have to wait a long time for your birdie, you can wait.
Yeah.
And a little thank you very much. Tap the basket. 2 under apiece for Devan and James. Even for Mike, and Dustin is still at 1 over par.
So you just walked into a disc golf store. Look at all that sweet plastic. So many new discs to try. What if you don't like this new disc? Rest easy. When shopping at any of our buyback retailers, if you are not completely satisfied with a disc from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or Westside Discs, bring it back within 14 days with proof of purchase, and we will replace it with whatever disc you want in the store, no matter the brand. It is that simple. Now get out there and play some disc golf. Check out dynamicdisc.com/retail to find a buyback retail partner near you.
Hole 5, par 3, 381 feet. This is a tricky one. You've got to throw a low shot, preferably a right-handed backhand with maybe a little bit of Anheuser or turnover, and then swing back into the pin late. It's a little longer and definitely a lot more technical than the par 3s we've seen.
Yeah, this is the 4th hardest hole in the course, averaging just above par, 3.14, I believe.
Pie.
Yeah, 3.14. Wow, 3.154.
Okay.
What's the 3rd digit of pi?
It might be a 5.
No,
maybe 1.5.
We'll see.
I'm going to say it's 14159.
Can we get our stats guy to check the validity of this?
Yeah, that's a great drive.
Look at this shot there, just straight pipe from Devan. He's going to be 12 feet, park job. And Conlee throws a nice little late turning.
Whoa, it was nice until
Wow.
the wind said, no thank you, Mike.
That looked great.
The wind really had its way with that shot.
I didn't want to have anything to do with that one. Let's see if Dustin get things going here. This is a shot that he's traditionally so good at throwing.
That might be pretty tough, actually, to get up and down for his par. Let's see how thick the rough is over there.
Oh, that's not good.
Not as thick as I thought it might be, but clearly he's got a very tough lie, having to go with a standstill spike hyzer, and that really isn't close to the basket.
No, he's outside circle 2 there.
Snappy cruising a little long, but he should be okay. And Dustin is off to officially now a pretty rough start through the holes that we've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had 2 of the tougher holes so far with 1 and 5, but the other 3 holes are quite easy.
Some of the easiest on the course.
And he's going to be 2 over par at best if he makes that next putt.
Yeah.
There's Snappy's. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Using every piece of the basket he could possibly use. He's in for his par. Another little tappy tap.
Snappy tap.
A snappy tapper-rooski.
Dustin's in for bogey, and you can tell he knows he's got to get on his horse here, or it's going to be a short weekend.
Yep. And Devan, man, what a great drive this was.
Really, because I don't really feel like this is a great lefty line.
Yeah, he just flipped it up perfectly, and it just cruised into the basket or towards the green and stopped right there with those big pines and park job.
Yeah.
3 under for Devan, great start.
Okay, hole 6, par 5, 1,167 feet. I think this might be the signature hole on the property, really. It's a short drive that has to move hard right. Then you got a long straight shot. Then you've got the out-of-bounds creek and the Pro Tour wall out-of-bounds on your left. It takes a lot to make a 4 here.
Mm-hmm. And this is the second hardest hole so far, and it's you can see why. There's just so many different things you have to do here. Nice little placement shot there from Devan. Not going too big. Just keep it right there where you want to throw your second shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, these big par 5s like that so often, like hole 888, for instance, it was never about a big tee shot, really. And you could go big and you could get the huge risk reward, but it's really about that placement on the first one.
That's a big risk right there from Snappy. And it seems like he didn't pay for it, but I don't quite understand throwing it that high. I just don't think it's quite worth it to test all those branches up there.
And he was a bit early on that one. He got pretty fortunate to get to the place where he landed. And
this looks fantastic from Mike, though.
Yeah, Mike's showing off that forehand chops there. Great shot there. He's going to be in perfect position for a second.
Good safe shot. And see how Dustin does with it.
Oh, nice smooth release.
Really
good pop.
Is. You got to feel for the guy. It's hard to watch, knowing that a forehand hurts him. And then seeing him throw him, it's like, man, I just hope he can heal up soon. Devan going with this hyzer. This is too safe, I'm going to say. Well, I mean, he can definitely make a play from there, but I think he probably wishes that would have flattened up just a bit more because you really need some distance on this second shot.
And Dustin's kept it pretty nice and low and wide. He's skipped up, and he's going to have
similar distance to Devan, I think.
Mm-hmm.
See if Mike can give it a little more of a ride. And he definitely can.
No, he's turned it over too much. That thing is holding the turn, and he is going to be in the, I don't know, I want to call it some sort of fancy name for shrubbery.
Yeah.
I'll just call it shrubbery.
Is pretty fancy, man.
I'll call it shrubbery.
Give yourself credit. Shrubbery is a very fancy word.
All right.
Seems like a decent shot from Snappy. We'll see how far he's got left. But this is a good 400 feet at least. And this looks like it's going to OB. This is going hard right. It's going to need a tree. And it doesn't get one.
Hard left, I believe. I mean, if you turn it around, technically it was pretty right from this perspective. But from his perspective...
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And Dustin is saying, I don't want none of that. Plays the safe layup.
Smart play.
Nothing wrong with playing this one for a 5.
I think Snappy's going to do the same. Out of position here. Just going to throw it up to the edge of Snake River.
Is this where all the snakes are hiding?
That's what I heard. I mean, can't blame them. It looks like a pretty good spot to hang out.
If I were a snake, that's what I'd be hanging out for sure.
And this is super ambitious. Holy cow.
And look at this thing. I mean, this is a beautiful shot.
Are you kidding me?
Mike has thrown some great turnovers so far, and he's left himself just outside the circle for his birdie. What a great shot that was.
That was a very aggressive shot from out of position over all that OB, and if it fades out early at all, it's out of bounds.
And Dustin's put a nice pop on this one, holding straight, but just didn't get there. Looked really nice for most of the flight, but he's going to have some work left for his par.
Yeah, this pin is tucked back. The thing to remember here, I think, is that there is no OB long, so the green is skinniest at the short side. If you have the option to play a little deep, probably should do it.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say I think that was an AVR from James. I'm not exactly sure if that's what that was or not.
I feel like you're 99% onto something there. And short forehand from Devan, and that should be close enough.
Nico sporting the flower child look in the background.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
Oh, it was prominent.
And Dustin there, not the effort he was looking for. Draws nothing but air.
And Mike connects on the huge birdie.
What a birdie.
A little excited clap there from Mike, and gets the reward for being super aggressive in that third shot.
Talk to me about how many birdies were made on this hole out of our 13 players. I'm going to say no more than 2.
I'm going to say that there was one more than 2.
Dang it.
There was 3.
Oh, Devan.
That's going to be a double?
Yeah, I think so, right? He went out of bounds. Wow.
That's, one thing about Devan is when he's not putting well, he's always still directly in line with the pole. He's just a little bit low. That's rare to see him miss early with his putt. That's not a miss that we see often. It happens, but
very
still
rare.
Yeah, it's a little bit uncharacteristic for Devan. He takes the double bogey, drops down to 1 under. He's still well clear of Dustin here. I mean, the name of the game is just at least don't lose to your card, because then you're through.
Yep, for sure. Beat one person and you're through.
Yeah, beat one person in your card and you're fine.
Hole 7 is a short par 3, 286 feet, dead straight. It's sort of tucked back into this little bit of a cove, so you can't swing a wide hyzer in. But again, a very straightforward shot, similar to hole 3 and hole 4.
Yeah, then this is the third easiest hole. I feel like every hole has been either the second hardest or the third easiest every hole so far. So,
well, when you have a small sample size, isn't that how math ends up working? I really don't know.
Wow. Okay, so the root said you're going to stay right there.
That's a nice reaction.
Stops it right there. Mike will have back-to-back birdies.
Snappy, put some nice height under the disc. Is it too far? Absolutely yes.
Yes, it absolutely is.
He can still make that putt, though. It's a good shot.
Oh, certainly. I think he's still inside the circle. But he absolutely, yes, is long.
Put an ace run on it. And Dustin hates it out of his hand. He turns around in disgust. Devan's going to jump right back on the birdie train. That's my prediction.
Oh, yeah. Great shot there from Devan. Good recovery after the double. And if nothing else for these guys, this is the best practice you're going to get. This is actual scored round.
Yep.
And, you have a chance at playing each one of these holes in competition and seeing how you feel, the flow of the course. It's so hard to replicate that during practice rounds. And James has missed his putt. And Devan has tapped in his birdie, and Mike will do the same, I believe. James will have to settle for par. But it's a huge advantage to do that, and then coming into the last 3 days of the event.
You're coming off of you already feel like you're playing a tournament. Coming into day 2, you don't really, everyone else that's joining you is playing their first round. And so I think you can build momentum.
Absolutely. And it's a really interesting format. If you guys aren't familiar, after this round is completed on Friday and Saturday, there will be a certain number of cards out there on the course, and just the top score.
I believe there's 24 players playing tomorrow, and I think 8 of them advance into the semifinals.
Okay.
Where Germ is waiting.
Yeah, there's 8 guys who have qualified previously prior to this event.
They have a bye all the way into the semis.
The semifinals.
Hole 8 is a very, very long par 4, 956 feet. It's a pretty incredible 3. If anybody gets this, I'd be pretty surprised against the wind.
Yeah, and this is actually the hardest hole of course, which continuing the trend of hardest, the easiest to hardest.
This one, I feel like it's a par 4.5 at least. I mean, especially if the wind's blowing. It is 2 crushes, and that is a crush right there from Mike. That's fantastic. Over the OB almost the whole way, brings it back inbounds, and he'll have an opportunity to do that exact same shot again and go for the basket.
What would be your guess on the scoring average on this hole?
13 players, par 4, but super hard. Average score.
What an incredible shot from Devan.
Average score 4.97.
5.15. Averaged. If it was a par 5, it would be a difficult par 5.
Yeah, I think it could get away with being a par 5.
And James and Devan both threw great shots. They're up the fairway clean.
Dustin looking at the big hyzer, or no, maybe up the middle shot? Not the shot he was looking for. Let's say that much. I think he might have misreleased that just a bit, and that's unfortunate. Out of bounds and not a lot of distance, and this is going straight out of bounds. He's going to have to rethrow from there, and this is now going to be a huge number. I mean, there's really no way he can save this at this point.
Hate to see that. And just chips off a lot less distance than he'd like, but he's safe.
Yep.
And sometimes you just got to take that medicine, man. It helps you hurt less.
Yeah.
But you can't be going for those big shots when you're already out of position. And look at that crazy flip up from the wind. He gets a double ride.
Is it enough? Yes.
And hits the cart path. He's in bounds.
And look how far short he is. This is a par 4?
That's mislabeled.
And watch Mike, after the huge drive, not even thinking about going for the green.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good tree. He might have been going in the rough. So he's well short. He's 200 feet short.
With 2 big shots. 1,000 feet. I mean, I don't know if any 1,000-foot hole that is
Even
called
if
a
there
par
weren't
4.
any, even if there wasn't any OB or trees.
Yeah, wide open. I mean, that seems to be...
This is in trouble. That is also out of bounds. The sidewalk splitting off there, I think, is not out of bounds. I'm not sure if they have a string line or what that tells you where the OB ends.
Mm-hmm.
And Dustin has taken a huge skip. He, again, chips up very, very short.
Out on 1, out on 3, in on 5, up on 6. He's going to have to get up and down
To
for
make
8. For a quadruple.
That should be safe. I think that, as far as I know, that path is not out of bounds. And Snappy...
Plays safe all the way up the fairway. He's going to have a putt for par, which is
very, very good.
Basically a birdie. I mean, if you're getting a 4 when the 13 people are averaging over 5, that's all intents and purposes a birdie.
Yeah. Devan.
So he'll be happy with that.
There were no 3s. Just tell me.
No, not a chance.
Yeah. And Mike, a little bit low for his par, I believe.
And as a matter of fact, only 5 of the 13 players managed to even get a par.
So it's a par 5.
Yeah. And Dustin has got up and down for his 8. Things are looking grim.
Very grim.
For Dustin Keegan.
If you're a Dustin Keegan fan, he needs you now. Get up and start cheering because he's got to make a big run.
Mm-hmm.
Tough hole, man. You've got an 8, 2 5s, and a great 4 from Snappy Cole. Hole 9 doesn't get a whole lot easier. Par 5, I guess it gets easier because it is a par 5. But over 1,100 feet, again, you've got less trees in the way, and you've got less OB even. So I think this hole probably, raw average, is easier than the last one.
This one allows you to rip into the tee shot a little bit more, be a bit more aggressive, bite off more off the tee, obviously, and less punishing near the green as well. So we'll see players like James go for a big shot.
Wow.
He's turned over this destroyer too much.
Oh, no.
And that has gone OB, which is huge mistake on this one.
He's going to have a bad angle now from there, I'm afraid. We'll see if he gets a gap, but it is windy out here, folks.
Yeah, and Mike kind of going to school on James' line there. Goes for a little bit less off the tee. but manages to keep it in bounds and in the middle of the fairway.
Devan, this is a very nice spot to be a lefty with an overstable disc. You can move towards the pin with your fade. That's a great shot. Spotter out here marking Snappy's lie. And Dustin, a little too high. This is going to catch on the wind and really go left. Long way off the tee, but also a long way to the pin from there.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Snappy's got a forehand.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
If that nose were down any less or any more, he may have dug into the ground and cut rolled OB again.
Yeah, that was a good skip.
Manages to keep it just nose up enough to get that good flare. And Dustin's put a pretty good move on this one.
Definitely.
He's going to be in position to have a look at getting up and down.
Yeah. I did not realize these guys would be so trapped in that they would need to throw forehand second shots over there.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a move out of necessity or if that's just Mike feeling comfortable with the forehand.
Yeah, maybe.
You'd like to be able to throw the backhand just for the distance that you're going to get, the extra distance.
Yeah, definitely, I think. Backhand. Maybe a forehand on the third.
Yeah. And
that's a good shot.
Devan's way up the fairway after two.
If you're up there near those Pro Tour walls, you're doing a good job. If you're there in two, you've got a good chance to make birdie. What? Is this a roller?
Snappy has laid a roller down and has just barely got around that wall. He was flirting with danger.
He knew about the gap in the wall and he just ripped a roller through it?
I guess so.
Amazing.
I guess so.
And this is going for a ride.
Mike has some discs that like to hold turns. That is something that we're seeing here.
And who knows where that is? It's in some trees, I think.
Gobbled from the palm monster.
Yep. Dustin not able to flip this over.
Wow, look at these air bounces, man.
Sailing, but it doesn't go over the fence. That's a good sign. Because that's barbed wire, and it's going to be a long time before you see that disc again.
Yep.
Devan approaching for a chance at birdie.
Oh, yeah, he's got a great look at it.
Great shot.
25, 26 feet or so.
Oh, look at this awkward lie. Is he going to go through?
He's got to go
over in the wind. That is a scary shot to put the disc up like that in wind.
Mm-hmm. You have
well done, though.
Especially if it's in a headwind, you have to go past the basket almost and have the disc kind of stall and come backwards. It's hard to trust throwing it long in a situation like that, but he's come up a bit short because he didn't do that.
And Mike with a sneaky little forehand shot.
And this is a scary putt here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's not happy about the way he played that hole.
And that's, I think, maybe a double bogey.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like to me. This is for birdie, though.
Must be a great way to cap off the front nine for Devan. And again, at this point, you see Dustin take a quadruple bogey on hole 8. You're thinking to yourself, this is now becoming a practice round. There's no longer don't come in last unless something crazy happens in the back nine.
It really doesn't matter other than not being last because you're playing for your seeding, like what time you tee off the next day and who you play with, but there's no way to really manipulate that in your favor.
Right.
You're just going to be out there tomorrow with 24 guys needing to make it in the top 8.
Right.
Mike looks like he's counting up the score there.
Yeah. It was there on 1, there on 2. What was I doing? My third shot. Oh, my third shot was over there. All right, 5.
I was right. It was a double bogey, a birdie for Devan, and pars for Dustin and Mike. Devan at 2 under, Mike 1 under, James even, Dustin 7 over.
He's going to have to make some moves and not come in last. I mean, you don't know what's going on with the other cards. The best you can do is just finish the back 9 as well as you can.
For sure. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining us for the front 9 coverage. Thank you to Dynamic Discs for providing support for this coverage from Jomez Productions. Thank you to Big Germ. Thank you to Dave Fancy Clancy, and we will catch you for the back 9.